Michael Corleone is the main protagonist of the Godfather films, and he is played by one of the greatest actors of all time, Al Pacino. Throughout the Godfather timeline, we see Michael gradually change as a person over the years. In the first movie of the trilogy, we see him go from a nice and respected young man to a ruthless and feared one, and he also becomes the new Don of the Corleone family. Michael changing over time makes for an incredible story, and in today's video, I want to talk about two specific reasons as to why he becomes the way that he does. This video will of course contain spoilers for The Godfather, so if you haven't seen this film, I would suggest clicking off. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. One of the major events that changes Michael is the death of his older brother, Sonny. Sonny is brutally gunned down when he receives a call from Connie, who tells him that Carlo is hitting her again. This, of course, angers Sonny, and he storms out of the house furiously. All of this ends up being a big trap, and when he gets to the toll booth, a bunch of hitmen with Tommy guns jump him and shoot Sonny dozens of times. A couple of scenes later, we cut to Michael in Sicily as Don Tomasino approaches the house he is staying at. He begins to speak to Michael and reveals that his brother has been killed. This obviously hurts Michael to a great extent and is one of the reasons he becomes so cold hearted. Just like when Vito was shot earlier on in the film, he is once again out for revenge. In Vito's case, Michael went to kill Sollozzo and McCluskey, and he definitely wanted to get revenge for his brother like he did Vito, and we know this because at the end of the movie, Michael has Carlo killed. Not only that, but Michael is pretty much forced into becoming this feared and ruthless person. With Sonny gone, there is no one left to run the family. Tom Hagen can't do it, Fredo definitely can't do it, and Vito is still recovering at this point. This leaves Michael as the only true successor left, and he has no choice but to return to New York to learn how to run the family business. The other death that hurts Michael and causes him to change is the unexpected death of his first wife, Apollonia. After getting the news about Sonny, Michael is told to pack up and go somewhere that is safer. This is when one of his bodyguards, Fabrizio, betrays Michael and plants a bomb in the car he was going to take. But before Michael is able to get in the car, he sees that Apollonia is in there, which is when he realizes what is going on. He tries to warn her, but she turns the car on and is instantly killed by the explosion. Michael loses two people that he loved in the same day, his brother and his wife, and this obviously breaks him. Throughout the Italy scenes, we can see how much he loved Apollonia, and she ends up dying over something that had nothing to do with her. Now, this is not seen in the film, but in the Godfather book, there's a scene where Michael asks Don Tomasino to have Fabrizio found, and a few years later, when he becomes the Don, Michael tracks him down and finally has him killed, avenging his wife. Even though this isn't shown in the movie, I thought I would still include it because it's still a part of Michael's character development and further shows us how brutal and unforgiving he can be towards his enemies and people that betray him. The next time that we see Michael after Apollonia dies, you can tell just by his face that her death has taken a toll on him and that he isn't the same Michael from the beginning of the movie. Now, originally, this video was just going to be centered around another topic, that being what I think would have happened if Sonny was never killed. But I'm still going to talk about this anyways because this video is kind of short, so why not add some more stuff to it? Sonny's death is a big turning point in The Godfather, and it raises the question of what would have happened if he never died. I feel like if this was the case, the Corleone family would have either won the war against their enemies eventually, or there would have been so much bloodshed, it would have got so bad to the point where Sonny would be forced into calling in a truce with the other mafia families of New York. Now, regarding Michael, I believe that if Sonny never died, he would have stayed in Sicily with Apollonia, but only for a few years at most. We know that Michael wanted to come back to New York eventually because he does ask Sonny how long he'll have to stay away from there. Sonny tells him that it should only be about a year, but since he met Apollonia, his stay in Italy might have become longer than intended. The way I see it, Michael at some point would have wanted to move back home with his new wife, not out of necessity to run the family, but out of necessity to see his family. Sonny would still be running the business in this case, and there would be no need for Michael to become the Don or to keep getting involved in the family's criminal activities. Now, yes, he did kill two people earlier in the film, but that was just revenge for what they did to Vito, and with that problem solved, Michael could have kept living his life as a civilian, putting those murders behind him. Obviously, if this was how the movie played out, It would be pretty lame. So, good thing that's much more interesting than this made up scenario. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. I would really appreciate it if y'all followed me on my Instagram movie account at the Cinema Dawn, same name as the YouTube channel. It's pretty much a film review page, and I recently did Pulp Fiction and Casino, so if you want to check that out, I would really appreciate it. Last video that I uploaded did pretty damn well, so thank you for that. If you watched that video, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on what I talked about today. Leave a like, of course. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will see y'all later.